Now we're going to start recording. Hope you didn't need anything before that. In regards to theory, theory literally talks about three things. We talk about a proposed reason for a relationship, derive explanation, and make prediction. Propose a reason for a relationship. Why did it happen? A theory literally tells why it happened. Okay. After we write why it happened, we're going to explain why it happened, and then again we're going to predict. We are the predicting field. Okay? We're not psychic, but we just predict because you've done something for so long, it's probably going to happen. How many of you were close or close to one parent? Just one. Mom, dad, or even your grandparent. Okay? You're close to a parent. You can probably predict what would happen if you do the dishes when you were younger versus if you didn't do the dishes when you were younger. Your theory literally was, if I do these dishes before she gets home, I predict it's going to be a good week. If she has to come in here and tell me to do these dishes, I predict the rest of my life will be miserable. How did you do that? All you did was create a relationship. Mom likes dishes done like this. Okay? Explain it. She just likes things her way. She's stubborn. She is who she is. Predict, I got to make sure I can go out Friday. Make sense? How many of you ever been in a relationship before? You've got a theory about your partner. Okay? You've got a theory that if they just look at you a certain way, you can predict what that means. Okay? Me and my boyfriend live together. Sometimes he wakes up and he's like, good morning. I'm not a good morning person. Okay? But he is. Now, if he doesn't say good morning, I'm like, oh, great. Something happened. He didn't sleep good last night. It's going to be one of those days. So I have to fake it and be like, good morning. And he'd be like, oh, good morning, babe. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Why? My theory is, if he doesn't say it and I say it, we can still make this a good day. Does that make sense? You do it all the time and in every way. Got it? All right, good. Let's keep it going. Now, what we do. Psychologists, when you hear the word, you think what? You could be honest. Shrinks, yes, that is usually my favorite. Shrinks, doctors, therapists, counselors. Counselors. We're all of those things, but not all the same thing. Does that make sense? We can be one of those things, but we can't be all those things. All right, so we're going to go through what we are or what we can do. First things you need to know, there are three things we can do in the field of psychology. If we decide to be a psychologist, there's three different things we can do. Research, practice, or teach. Research literally means we go out into the field and we do research. We do surveys. We do case studies. We do anything to figure out what is happening with people. Okay? We want to know what's going on. We're either going to do pure research or applied research. Pure research, we're going to do hands-on activity. We're going to literally get in there and do some stuff. Okay? Applied research, we're kind of going to be withdrawn and we're going to try to apply what we learned to some other situation. So let's just say, trying to think of statistics that are out there that. Okay. Georgia is the number 2 ranking in teen pregnancy. True statistics. Out of the whole United States, Georgia's number 2 in having the most teen pregnancies in the country. Okay? Pure research, we're going to go out and start talking to some adolescent girls. What makes you have sex? Why do you not have sex? What are you doing between the hours of 3 and 6? Where are you going with 3 and 6? Does your mother know what you're doing? Because 3 and 6 is the prime time for pregnancies to occur in adolescence. 3 and 6 is also the prime time for crime to occur with adolescents. The reason why, they just got out of school before the parents get home. It's unsupervised time. It's the time that they explore the most. Okay? Applied research, we're going to ask parents, why do you think your children are having sex? Do you see the difference? Pure research, I went in and I asked the person. Applied, I'm going to apply what somebody else told me to the population. Does that make sense? Okay. Practice, we see therapy. We do therapy. Okay. And then teaching, we teach. Nothing to say about that. All right. Now, this is where you're going to get the pen out and really write. As much as I can say, as fast as I say. Clinical, in regards to fields, these are the different type of psychologists. So you have a psychologist, but depending on what they do different things, and this is all of the different things they can do. Clinical, these are your diagnostic therapists. These are your diagnostic therapists. They do diagnosing. They treat you for mental disorders, for abnormalities. These are the people who are clinical. They literally do things in regards to diagnostic therapy. All right. Counseling. They're your everyday counselors. They do things in regards to guidance counseling, lifestyle counseling, job coach counseling. They are your everyday lifestyle counselors. They don't really always have to do with the deep in. Your clinical person is going to do some deep interactive therapy. Your counseling is kind of just doing just small little, what do you choose to do for a career? You know, what do you want to do when you grow up? Why do you choose to do this field? That's your counseling. Understand so far? Okay, school psychologists are your testing psychologists. They only do testing in the school system. They are your testing psychologists. They do testing in the school system. If you have a student or a child that has any type of special needs, they will see a school psychologist for testing. IEPs are what they're called. We do what's called an individualized educational plan. We literally assess a child based on all of these different tests, and then we tell what grade level this child is, what help they need, what resources they need. That is all done by your school psychologist. Okay? Your educational psychologist does your research in an educational facility. Totally different in school, so let's not get those confused. Your educational psychologist does research in an educational facility. Your developmental psychologist. Your developmental psychologist actually looks at from conception to death. What occurs in the life between conception to death? Conception to death. What occurs in your lifespan? Okay, personality. They're looking at how does different things affect your personality. They look at how your birth order affects your personality, how your mother affects your personality, how your lifespan affects your personality, how your environment, all these things, how does the environment and your lifestyle affect your personality? They actually give you your personality type. Which part? Affect your personality type. They tell you if you're type A, if you're type B, if you're extroverted, if you're introverted. They give your personality a name. Now, the field of psychology really studies individuals, but social psychology actually looks at how does the environment affect the individual? How does the environment affect or influence the individual? How does the environment affect or influence the individual? That's your social psychologist. How does the environment affect or influence an individual? Environmental. Environmental. How does the environment affect a person? How does the environment affect a person? Social is how, in regards to social connection, so when we say environment, we're talking more social interaction. Here we're talking about trees, birds, nature. So let's use for environmental nature. How does literally your atmosphere affect your. Okay. Experimental. Your experimental psychologists actually do research and experiments. Literally what the word says. Your experimental psychologists do research and experiments. They are the ones that you go down to Emory and do sleep studies. Some of the um, focus groups, those are your experimental psychologists. How do people feel when they drink coffee in the morning? How do people feel when they eat chocolate? They are your experimental psychologists. literally, how does, how they do experiments. They experiment on people and research. Your industrial organization, or what we call your IO psychologists. Your IO psychologists literally talk about how are you effective in an organization or industry. How are you effective in an organization or industry? How are you effective in an organization or an industry? And how does the industry affect you? How does the industry affect you? How effective are you in an organization or industry? And how does an industry affect you? How many of you ever gone to the grocery store? How many of you ever took a trip down the cereal aisle? Okay? Now, let's all make believe we are 5 years old again. Okay, everybody here was once 5. You're in the cereal aisle, and it's time for you to pick your cereal. What are you going to pick? Chocolate. You're probably going to, let's just say we're going to look for the Fruit Loops. High packed sugar, colorful box. Where is it located? Bottom. Why is it located at the bottom? Because I'm 5 and I need to be able to grab it. Okay? The box is colorful because I need to stimulate my attention. It's got a character on it because it makes me interested. It's colorful because I like colors. It's got it again. And even the Fruit Loops is colorful. Okay? Because it's colorful. I need that. Now, you're now 29 and you're on a health kick. You want to eat grape nuts. Where is that located? Top shelf. Can you find it? What color is that box? Y'all don't even know. Some of y'all like brown, white. It's a white box. Only color on it is the word that says grape nuts. How much color is in that cereal? None. You're probably going to look at the grape nuts like grape nuts, grape nuts, grape nuts, grape nuts, grape nuts, grape nuts. Okay? Next time you go to a grocery store, find the grape nuts. Then tell me how fast it takes you to find Fruit Loops. Why? Because the IO people know if I put it in a red box, I'll stimulate your hunger. This is why every fast food sign in America has what color in it? Red. Red and yellow stimulate hunger. Every chip bag has what colors on it? Red and yellow. Why? Because it stimulates your interest to eat it. If they put it in another color, you won't want it as much. So next time you go to the grocery store, just pay attention to how many boxes have the color red on it. They're doing it for a purpose. The IOs found out the brain responds to the color red for hunger. Okay? It's a trick. All right? This is also why they designed the grocery store the way they did. The IOs know everything on the outside of the grocery store you need. Your breads, your meats, your dairy, your vegetables. They're located on the outside of the grocery store. The stuff you don't need is on the inside of the grocery store. So they put the sale stuff on the inside of the grocery store so they can grab you and get you to come to the middle. So the aisles always have these wonderful buy one, get one free, 50% off, half the price, and you get stimulated because you hear free. And the brain goes, free? Okay? You came in for a bag of apples. You grabbed the apples. You probably should have went right on out. But you instead of went this way, you went around and you saw the free sign and the brain was like, I need that. Okay? It's spaghetti sauce. You're not even planning on eating spaghetti for another 2 months. But you're like, it's free. I gotta grab that. Then you're standing in line. IO said, I need them to buy these products. Singly put all of these candy bars in the front. Don't put packs up there because they won't eat those things because they don't want to consume the whole pack. But if I make them only buy one, psychologically they'll think they're doing good. Plus they're at the grocery store and they're already hungry. So put one, put some red on it, put some yellow on it, put them in a line and watch them buy it. And what you do is you like, it's only one. It's only one. Okay, they even now put cakes in the front. only one. Donuts in the front, one pack. Okay? The reason they're doing it, the IOs know I can get them. And I'm going to tell you how to do it. Okay? The IOs also know if we put it to music, you'll buy it a lot quicker, which is why all the jingles on TV are to music. Because when you forget, you'll sing the song, which will stimulate your desire. Okay? The IO people are really smart. Okay? They're really good at what they do. And how they did is McDonald's has a jingle. What's their jingle? I'm loving it. Right. See? They got you. They did. Okay? They even said, well, let's take it a little further because even the lawyers now have jingles. 1-800 call who? See, why you know that? So if you get in trouble, you'll be out there like, I need a lawyer. 1-800 call Sam. Okay? Because he put it to music. And the IOs knew you'll get it. Okay? They're also the ones who gave you that stupid test you took. When you tried to apply to that place and it says, have you ever stolen before? Have you ever taken something without asking? Have you ever removed something without permission? They've asked you the same question 5 different ways. And you said no to all of them. I ain't never stole nothing. I've never moved anything without no permission. I've never taken. You lied. And they know this. That's what they're trying to find out. Because everybody has stolen before. Hate to tell you, newsflash, you've stolen before. Okay? Even if it was just a pen, you took it and it wasn't yours. You stole. Okay? Yeah, you acquired the pen. You're like, oh, I don't know where I got this from. Oh, my. You didn't go and be like, I got to find out who pen this is and take it back to the bank. You didn't say that. You were just like, oh, this is a nice pen. Oh. And you put it in your wherever, and you probably using it right now. Like, where I get this from? Oh, well, it's right good. You stole it. And the IOs know this. Okay, they're trying to find out how honest you are. That's how smart they are. So next time you go to the grocery store, just think IOs, IOs, IOs. That's how they're good. Okay? Your health people, how many of you work out? How many wish you worked out? All right. The health people are literally trying to tell you, how does health and fitness affect your mood, your attitude, and your performance? How does working out and exercise affect your mood, attitude, and performance? Newsflash, the more you work out, the happier you will be. Nah, health foods is one of them questionable things, because just because they put the word health food doesn't qualify. No. What'd I say? How does working out and exercise affect your mood, attitude, and performance? If you work out, you will realize you are happier because your body releases a drug. It's called endorphins. It is a natural high. Your body releases it 2 times. Sex and exercise. Okay? You get high. Endorphins are like oxycodone. It's like your own morphine. It's your body's own morphine. It's why you get that kind of that feeling to where you get that runner's high. Endorphins. Oxycodone, yeah. I'm not going to ask you your sex life because but we talk about sex a lot in this class because psychology literally feels that sex is a basic need of life. So really we say food, water, shelter, air, and sex. These are the basic needs of life. It's been proven. We don't mean intercourse sex. We mean intimacy. So the closeness of somebody else is a basic need of life. I don't care what it might be your dog. Okay? While I was single, me and my dog, I have a 7-year-old Chihuahua, and that's my best friend in the world because he thinks I am great. When I walk in, he does flips. He follows me around. That is the type of thing that some people, do you know that little old lady down the street who has 9 cats? She doesn't talk to anybody but her 9 cats. That's her intimacy. She's very close to those 9 cats. The nuns, the Catholic nuns, they don't have sexual relationships, but they have an intimate relationship with God. That's their intimacy. Does that make sense? It's a basic need of life. So what we've actually found out in health, if the person you are attached to or attracted to and you grab that intimacy from, if they touch you in any way, they give you a high. They release endorphins in your skin. which is why after sex, if you have, we'll talk about, there's actually stages you have to go through to have the full performance of sex that most people don't go through because they don't know exist. You actually have to go through all 4 stages to be fully satisfied. Um, if you are fully satisfied, you get this high, that kind of feeling where you kind of look like you're a little glazed a minute, where you can't stand up. The glow. Technically, you're going to glow anyway as a woman. You're going to change colors during the sex. You can't fake it. But the problem is men don't realize why you can't fake it. You can't fake it because you actually turn colors from your feet to your head. It just automatically happens. You literally turn a blush color. If he pays attention as he goes through the stages, you'll start to rise like a thermometer and change colors. That once you reach your full peak, you will be completely flushed. And it gives you this reddish, no matter what color skin you are, you get this flush look, which gives you the glow that you have because it meant he actually fulfilled you to the point to where you reach orgasm. Okay? All he has to do is flick the lights on and be like, you not looking flush, you faking, and turn the lights back off because it's just going to happen. Okay? It's just the body's response. You can't fake it. So with the health psychologists, they literally say, they literally say people who have sex at least once a month live longer. Yeah, you only once a month. Then you should be living a forever. But the idea is that to release these endorphins. So that high you get is really your body own morphine. You're literally so high that you have that morphine high. It's literally your own body's resistance. Okay? If you work out and do a run, go do a run, and you get that feeling like, oh, I feel so good. That's you're on high. You're on your body's own high. You get addicted to it. Okay? So if you haven't worked out, just think of how if you go do this, you could be high on your own natural stuff. If you feel stressed, do a run. If you got a partner, I mean, I'm not promoting, sex, but that works too. All right? I'm just telling you. They proved it. All right? Sports psychology, probably the best job in the world. Hardest job to get. These are your psychologists that actually work with sports teams. That's what they do. They're the ones that literally, when LeBron wins or loses, they go and talk to him and ask him how did he process the win or lose, the loss. That's all they do. They get paid about $190,000 a year. Yeah. But it's hard for them to get their jobs. All right? Your forensic psychologists, Criminal Minds, CSI, NCIS, Law and Order. Those are those people. They go in to figure out why the crime was committed. Forensic psychologists. They go in to figure out why the crime was committed. Probably one of the best jobs you can have. Fun. Why is it fun? One, simply because it's never the same. 2, it's always lucrative. 3, you always got a job. Crime is always going to be committed. And I'll teach you more about those things in chapter 2 and chapter 9 and chapter 12. All right. Psychology, where we all started from. So now you know what we do. You want to make sure you got that because on your first quiz, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions about that. Okay? About the different type of psychologists. So make sure you master those because on your first quiz, that's where most of your questions are coming from. All right? Good. Now, our history. Where did we start from? I don't really talk about Aristotle, Socrates. We go straight into what we call the first psychologist, which is also called the father of psychology, William Wundt. William Wundt is the father of psychology. William Wundt is the father of psychology. You want to know that? I think it's the first question on your final exam. Who is the father of psychology? And you're going to answer. All right. Now, what he founded is what is called structuralism. Structuralism is the first school of thought. Okay, school of thought literally means these are the thoughts of psychologists. School of thought. First school of thought is structuralism, founded by William Wundt. School of thought, structuralism, founded by William Wundt. The idea of structuralism is based on 3 concepts: sensation, feelings, and images. Sensation, feelings, and images. Sensation, feelings, and images. What does these three things tell you? What are these things? Give me something about these three things. Sensation, feelings, and images. Hmm. I knew he was gonna use that word. Sensation. What is a sensation? I knew y'all was gonna go there, but I just told y'all it's also feelings. So how is sensation and feelings different? What's different than that feeling? Of what? Then what is different than the image? Hmm. Oh, we're close. Go with the stimulus. I'm stimulating what? What creates sensations? My what? My who? My eyes. My what? My touch. What are these? Senses. So sensation is a stimulus of my senses. That's all a stimulation is. Has nothing to do with a feeling. It might provoke a feeling, but sensation is just a stimulus of my senses. Make sense? Once my senses are stimulated, I might start to feel something. Once I feel something, I might create an image. Make sense? One key about this, structuralism is about what I'm aware of. I know I see something. I know I feel something. Okay? I know I picture something. It's the conscious mind only. It's what I'm aware of. Does that make sense? Has everybody got it? So right now, structuralism, you are sitting in a class. What will structuralists say you are doing? Okay, all of that. Y'all good. What am I feeling? Smart. Okay, some of y'all feeling smart. Some of y'all feeling not so smart. Okay, some of you might feel bored. Some of you feeling like overwhelmed. Some of y'all like, this lady has lost her mind and this is just day one. Okay, and some of y'all getting an image like, if this is how day one is, oh my God. What's day, what's day 55 gonna be? Okay, you're aware of these things. Now unconsciously, we haven't even got to unconscious because in the beginning we didn't know unconscious exists. We just felt that psychology was about what people could tell me about. What they felt, what they saw, what they picture. Does that make sense? All right. So once we feel structuralism, James came out and said, one, you're good. I understand what you're saying, but we need to take it a little bit further. People are aware of these things, but what do they do with it? How are they functioning with this? So let's go back to how you're feeling. You're feeling confused, smart, not so smart, overwhelmed, emotional, whatever else you're feeling over here. How are you functioning with it? Some of you writing down more than you've ever wrote in your life in any class ever. Some of you haven't wrote down anything because you like, I don't even know where to start. Okay? It's literally my structuralism now based my function. How am I functioning with it? Not so much deal because now you processing. They haven't even got to processing because they don't even, we're so early in psychology, they're literally like, all we know is people do these things and then what they do with it. You probably ask them why, they just like, because this is what you're supposed to do. That's all we knew back in the beginning. Does that make sense? So we knew how to, first we said structuralism. James came out and said, let's take structuralism a little bit further. Let's see, functionalism is how we use our basic stimulus. Are we good? For example, you're cold. Structuralists say, you're cold. My skin is cold. That would be what? Functionalism. Functionalism said because I was cold, I then decided to go seek a jacket. I don't know why I did. I just know, put a jacket on, I was warm. Structuralism, I thought, maybe I should move this hand. A child has no idea why they did this. All they know is it felt hot, get my hand off. Some things you still do under those concepts. You do things and you like, why do you do it? It's just how I function. Does that make sense? All right. Then we have behaviorists. Behaviorists then came in and said, I understand what you guys are saying, but it's not about that. Because behaviors, I can do what with it? Control it, change it, and observe it. So the behaviors came out and said, we need to do is start looking at things we can literally see. So behaviorism came out about Watson and Skinner. They literally said, we learn based on what we observe. Once we observe it, we can change it. Once we change it, we can control it. All that other stuff is not important because we need to be able to say what we see is what we do. So your behaviors literally said, we are concerned with the learned behaviors we observe. Does that make sense? Okay, there's only 2 men in the class, all right? So let's watch how this works. Men versus women. I know. Nothing complex. Women, how did you learn how to sit down? Who taught you that? Some of y'all like, I don't know. How'd you learn? You don't even know how you learned, did you? It just happened. You just woke up one day like, oh, woman, sit cross. What'd you do, AC? You literally looked at her like, she's a woman. She looks pretty much like me. I'm going to do what she does. She sat with her legs crossed. Let me try this too. And she probably said, oh, you look so cute like that. And you like, I look cute. I kind of like how she said that. And you did it again. And she says, oh, my little girl. And you like, oh, she recognized me. I'm going to do it again. All she was doing behaviorism. She controlled your behavior by giving you rewards. She praised you. You now observed her behavior, and now you do it all the time. Little boys, what do they do when they first grow one piece of hair? Where are they at? They're trying to shave it off. Who taught them this? They're probably 5 years old with no hair. And what are they in the bathroom doing? Trying to shave. Why? Because dad did it. He's a male. I'm a male. Let me do what daddy did. Okay? Does that make sense? This is what that's all about. You learn things based on watching, but you also learn things based on rewards and punishment. Your parents have shaped you very well. All they did was punish you, or they rewarded you. Your spouse, your partner have shaped you very well. They rewarded you, and they punished you. Make sense? All part of behaviorism. Yes. You want to put a star by his name? Skinner and Watson. These are the creators of the theories. All right. You then have Gestalt. Gestalt therapy was a little bit different. Gestalt literally said that our perception, we look at the sum before we look at the parts. We look at the sum before we look at the parts. We look at the sum before we look at the parts. We look at the sum before we look at the parts. We look at the sum before we look at the parts. What does that mean? Literally, if we go out to the parking lot and I said, tell me what you saw, what are you going to come tell me? Cars. You looked at the big picture. That's not what you saw. What did you really see? No, you didn't. What did you really see? You saw wheels, screws, windows, handles, paint. You saw that, but you literally said, that takes too much, Sharif. I saw a car. You know the parts. Okay? If I literally said, we're going to go to a function, what'd you see? You're like, a whole lot of people. Well, who was there? A bunch of people. Well, who exactly? Sharif. Everybody. Okay. Perfect example also. You're on a diet. How many of you ever took a diet? One day, this week, you just said, I'm going to lose these by 8, 20, 30, 50, 90 pounds. Whoever said that? All right, good. If you haven't, welcome to, wait, it's going to happen one day. Then you were good. Monday, you worked out. You were working it. You were good. You did great. You ate your little apple. You had your fruit. You was on the ball. Then they passed that donut tray around. And you looked and said, just one. Just then you said you ate the donut, and what'd you say about the day? Oh well, it's over now. I'll start next week. Why? Because your thought was the whole day was better than me worrying about this 5 minutes that you messed up. That's just thought. You look at the big picture. And what just thought Larry said is we as individuals don't have time for the little stuff. We just always say the big stuff. Perfect example today when you get home and somebody says, "How was your day?" "Horrible." Well, was your whole day horrible? It might have been the one little thing that was bad, but you just looked at the big picture and said it was horrible. Does that make sense? Okay. What I want you guys to do today, uh, no, of course not. Today, yes. Um, what I want you to do, I want you to do, let's get an understanding what perspective you are. Do everything but the quiz. Do not do the quiz. Okay? Wait to do the quiz until after class on Monday. All right? Do not do the quiz. If you do it, you on your own. I'm not erasing it. I'm not changing because I told you not to do it. Don't do the quiz. Do your other 3 assignments, but do not do the quiz. What are you not going to do? What are you going to do? All right. You learn fast. See you guys on Wednesday. Have a great weekend. Yeah, Monday. Yeah.